Christmas sweater, Christmas sweater. Sadgirlapparel.com, Christmas sweater. Christmas sweater, Christmas sweater. Time to get holiday time. So there was a good amount of movies I saw when I was a child that freaked me out, low-key traumatized me, I would say. And it always ended up being movies that were centered towards children. You know, not really meant to be scary, but at the same time, they end up being the scariest thing ever. And when I tell you that Small Soldiers is by far the most traumatizing movie I've ever seen, I'm putting it lightly. I mean, look at this face. How do you look at this face and think, oh boy, wouldn't children love this? Now, I would like to mention this is a PG-13 movie. Originally, it was PG, but they had to buff it up to PG-13. It makes a lot of sense why once you watch it. But in the 90s, there was a lot of movies that were centered around toys becoming sentient. You know, they're all kind of riding the coattails of Toy Story coming out. And Small Soldiers kind of took a more realistic approach to it, or I guess I could just say more violent approach toward it. So this movie is a story about a high-tech military company that produces top-of-the-line weaponry. They decided, hey, I want to make children's toys. And a little cool fact, apparently this is one of DreamWorks' first steps into animation. Sure, it's not an animated movie, but there's a lot of CG action going on throughout. And also right after this movie, they released their first animated film, which was Ants, which is something I'm probably going to be covering later on. Not only that, but this movie has a very stacked cast. We got Kirsten Dunst, David Cross, Dennis Leary, Phil Hartman, and so much more. It's definitely one of those movies that you don't remember, but you know, you got that like little dormant thing in your head that a sassy little YouTuber is gonna bring up, and then you're gonna be like, oh, why did you bring that up? You're traumatizing me. I'm gonna traumatize you. So this movie, like I said before, has a lot of violence. It loves war. Like, war is basically the main focus of this movie. You can't really go a scene without some sort of reference to war throughout. And also, there's a big parallel with the white man coming to kill natives from their native land. You know, very family-friendly stuff.
They're wires and metal, the same as yours.
And I'm just saying, Chucky ain't got nothing on Brick Bazooka. Chucky ain't got shit on this guy. Also, there's a lot of knives in this movie. Transition into... You guys like cutting things? Me too. That's why today we're going to be talking about the wonderful Kamikoto knives. Using more than 800 years of traditional techniques to create special sharp single bevel knives, and all the steel that is used to create these insanely sharp knives are all sourced from Japan Mill. And each one of these knives come in a beautiful heavy duty ashwood box to make sure that when you bring these knives over to cut your friend's precious prize salmon, you best believe that they're going to be losing their shit. That's just fun. And also, each Kamikoto knife comes with a lifetime guarantee, baby. So you don't need to worry about it. When it's with you forever. Kamikoto has a big sale going on, and you get an extra $50 off for any purchase that you make there if you use code Bionic. And that's on top of any other special offer. So click that link in the description. Go to kamikoto.com/Bionic, and of course use promo code Bionic to save $50 today. Go now, get your sharp knives to cut your salmon. So how this movie begins is honestly hilarious. It's just a commercial talking about Globotech, you know, a company that is a high military company that makes top-of-the-line advanced military weaponry. And now they're going to be putting that advanced battlefield technology into consumer products for the whole family. Now I know you think, oh, he's just paraphrasing, summarizing it a little bit to make it seem crazier than it is. No, that was a quote. Verbatim.
Introducing advanced battlefield technology into consumer products for the whole family.
Hey, son, come over here. I got you this. Oh my gosh, Dad. What is it? It's an M107 50 cal long-range sniper rifle, son. Oh boy, just what I want! And just so everyone is aware, you could take this movie with a little grain of salt because it is listed as satirical. So I guess there's a lot of this movie you can just laugh at and be like, oh, they knew what they were doing. And I'm sure you could see what I mean just by the intro alone.
Turning swords into plowshares for you and your family.
So, Globotech buys the biggest toy company in the world, and then we meet Erwin, who's a big nerd, and Larry. They're pitching the idea to the CEO of Globotech, you know, just a toy idea. Erwin, you know, since he's a loser, dumb nerd, and he loves Star Trek, pitches the idea of the Gorgonites, which is basically, you know, alien nomads. You cringe, nerd!
This way the kids can learn and do research and
Excuse
find
me,
out
did
about...
you say learn? Next.
Yeah, fuck learning. Let's see the commandos. Yeah! Guns, camo, beer, flat top, and oh God, what is that? Oh dear God. So the CEO is basically like, bruh, you know these toys? They don't move, they don't talk. Lame. Get me some toys that do what they do in the commercials. Walk, talk, piss. Like Furbies. Love those things. So he literally tells them, hey, we got the technology to shoot a nuclear missile at someone 7,000 miles away, so it'll be a piece of cake to make these toys sentient. Yes, of course. Nuclear warfare and children's toys go hand in hand. So Larry and Irwin are told they are allowed to basically browse the Globotech database and find microchips for the toys. And this part is just 90s movie computer bullshit at its finest. So Larry logs into the Globotech database and basically buys high-tech military microchips like he's buying it off of Amazon. There's even a shopping cart. And yes, this part, you can at least tell they're a little bit self-aware with this. It's so good. So then we meet Alan Abernathy, who's the main character of the movie and whose parents own a toy store. He's the classic teenager like, ugh, school sucks. I'm so angsty and fuck everything, man. You know, teenager. And he's chatting with the truck driver who normally ships them toys, and he sees Organites and Commandos. And he's like, hey, it wouldn't be sussy at all if you ended up taking one of those and giving it to me for free, would it? And so the truck driver's just like, yeah, I know it might cost me my job, but go ahead, kid. Then Kirsten Dunst appears with her little brother to find a toy, and Alan obviously starts realizing that he's the main character. Female, coming into a store, and he just, main character stuff. So Christy's brother ended up seeing the Commandos, and he really wanted them. But when Alan went back to search for them, poof, they're gone. So it was like these dolls have a mind of their own. Almost like they're some kind of small soldiers or something.
What, we some kind of suicide squad?
Then Christy's all like, hey, you're like the new kid in town, just moved in next door. Don't be a stranger, you know, come talk to me. Then she walks outside to her hot boyfriend on a motorcycle. Honestly, Christy's such like an awful person. Like her boyfriend has never once showed that he's like an asshole or a bad person in any way. She just starts flirting with this new kid, is like, yo, hit me up later, walks outside and gets on the motorcycle with her boyfriend. Don't worry, Alan. All you need is a little bit of a life-threatening, traumatizing situation for you both to be in. Then she'll fall for you. Boy, let's hope that happens. So Alan ends up finding all the dolls and he puts them back into their containers. Then he notices that his dad forgot his plane tickets, grabs them, and takes off. And uh-oh, these dolls are alone. Really hope they don't come to life. So Alan goes home, gives tickets to Daddy. Daddy goes to airport. Then Mom starts nagging Alan about the store.
So, the door was locked when you left?
Yes.
Yeah, Mom, I closed the store. Don't you trust me with anything? God, I hate my life. I'm gonna go upstairs and just watch a bunch of Bionicpig videos with question reality stickers on my monitor. And it just so happened that Archer, the leader of the Gilgamesh, snuck into his backpack. Gilgamesh. Huh. How peculiar. Peculiar. So Alan starts talking to Archer, and back at the toy store, we got a little bit of demon dolls breaking out of their boxes. Literally, if Toy Story was a horror film.
There's a snake in my boot.
So all the commandos line up to their commando, voiced by the wonderful Tommy Lee Jones.
Town dog, soldiers.
And basically the leader's like, yo, let's kill all the Gabagool at any cost. Gabagool. Interesting. So while Alan is asleep, Archer kind of starts searching through his computer. And since Alan was doing his history project, there's just a load of different historical stuff about war, Nazis, nuclear stuff. And then he lands on an image of a nice river. And so he decides, Gorgon. This is where we need, this is our home. And so pretty much we could start seeing the parallels of, you know, white man coming to kill off peaceful race of people because they look different. You know, you kind of see what's going on. And like I said before, just dark version of Toy Story.
Tortures toys. Just for fun.
So Alan wakes up, see Archer's petting his cat, and instead of losing his shit and freaking out like most people would.
I think you're smarter than you're letting on.
You can talk, can't you? You're smarter than you let on, aren't you?
You were using my computer?
So at the toy store, all of the commandos just start attacking the Gibble Titties. Gibble Titties. How intriguing. So Alan gets to his store and it is literally completely destroyed, and they find the remains of the Gorgons and he is literally ripped apart. We're not talking about they just took out his batteries. They mangled the thing. They tortured that poor creature. So Christy ends up coming back to the toy store, you know, can I buy those dolls that my little brother wanted earlier? And she goes inside, notices the whole store is completely destroyed. And instead of being like, oh my God, did someone rob you? Did someone come in here and destroy everything? She literally accuses him of insurance fraud.
Are you pulling some kind of insurance scam?
You, teenage boy, are you committing insurance fraud? What the fuck? But anyway, we find out Alan's actually kind of a badass. He ended up getting kicked out of 2 of his previous schools. Now that's some hardcore stuff. Then we get a just painful scene of them bonding. A lot of them connecting and like starting to like each other is just awkward throughout.
Do you ever watch that show, Family of Five?
It's okay.
Oh, thank God. Me neither. I hate it.
I don't know. I mean, the show's okay. Oh my God, I hate the show. And then Alan hits her with the fattest line possible.
Say the line, Bart. You're not like other girls.
So Christy, a girl who's, you know, not like other girls, who was supposed to only be there to grab the dolls and leave, ended up staying for many hours to help Alan clean up the store. Goddamn, Alan, I did not think that line actually works, but man, it does.
I heard you called in a bomb scare on Parents' Day.
Yeah, that's when I got caught.
Ah, yes, of course. The best way to a woman's heart is talking about how you've called in a bomb threat to a school full of children. And got caught, mind you.
Bummer.
Don't worry, guys. I think Christy can change him. So Alan's dad comes back home, notices that a piece of the wooden sailboat got broken off. So Christy, trying to help Alan again, grabs Archer and leaves. So even after all that, even after Alan hit her with the fat, you're not like other girls, and Christy helped him for hours on end with the store, she walks outside, still gets picked up by her boyfriend. Oh yeah, and her boyfriend is wearing a Letterman's jacket and is a football player, and says, hey, you could come cheer me on, Christy.
Come on, you can cheer me on.
Dear God, if I was playing high school drama bingo, I would have won so quick. So, this is where shit starts getting wild. Alan goes home, falls asleep, and the commandos end up following him to his house. They end up capturing Archer and literally hang him over a garbage disposal to get him to talk, to tell him where the other Gorgonites are. So Alan, once again, taking the situation like an absolute unit and not even reacting to anything that's going on, he saves Archer and kills one of the commandos in the garbage disposal. So then we hit a cliche, you know, all movies, anytime inanimate objects, animals, or anything else becomes sentient and starts speaking English, when adult comes around, that means no talkie time, no talkie time. Because that means the movie would be boring. We don't want stupid, dumb, stinky adults to know about what's going on. And plus, we wouldn't get a classic part about his parents calling him an idiot and telling him that he's on smack.
Are you on crank?
No!
Then is it crystal meth, tar, smack?
Irene, for
Well, we need to
Mom,
know.
we're gonna help.
I'm not on drugs!
So anyway, somehow the commandos end up in a tool shed. So basically, they're just going to create weapons of mass murder. Wonderful. So Alan ends up finding the rest of the Gorgonites. Apparently they were just hiding in a dumpster. Oh yeah, and all while this stuff is happening with Alan, both Irwin and Larry, you know, the people who pitched the toy idea in the first place, catch wind of Alan's issue because he called support. So they ask for a recall of all toys, and they also find the information that the only way to beat them is an EMP. So to make matters worse with the commandos, not only are they creating weapons, you know, to kill people, but they overheard Alan talking to Christy, you know, flirting with Christy a little bit, and they decide to use Christy as bait. So they literally drug her parents by shooting sleeping pills into their drinks. Then they attack Christy's brother, her little kid brother, and then tell him he could either be a prisoner or a casualty, basically implying that they aren't above killing a child. And somehow it gets even worse. So the commandos see a bunch of Barbie dolls and joke about how they are fully posable, obviously implying that, you know, they would like to take advantage of the Barbies. Is that, what would that even be? So then they take Nick Nitro, you know, the commando that ended up dying, and just rip the microchip out of his head. Yeah, Pretty sure that's how microchips work. So this part is confusing and concerning. So all of these girl dolls, they were completely normal looking, fully clothed. Yet whenever they put them through this machine to make them sentient, they are all naked. Their bodies are kind of mangled. So that could only mean something happened to them before they started making them sentient.
Fully posable.
Oh dear God. Oh dear God. So Christy gets home to see these abominations that were made and they all attack her. And something that really confuses me about this part, she doesn't scream. Honestly, she doesn't really react much. She makes like a couple grunt noises, but that's it. I'm sorry, if you walk into a room and see this face,
We'll all get facials.
You were using my computer?
I think like a scream or something would be a solid reaction to that. And not only that, but her boyfriend heads upstairs, also doesn't react to the situation, only giving a few grunt noises.
Get up. And the Oscar goes to...
Why is no one screaming? This is scarier than most horror movies. So anyway, her boyfriend literally leaves her to die. So, I mean, I guess he's out of the picture now. Alan, you're in. You're in, Alan. Let's go. Then they send Alan a fucking video of her tied up, asking for help while they torture her. Why hasn't anyone told anyone about? You literally have footage of them torturing her on a video. Just show your parents. Call a cop. Grab a bat. Do something. Like, these are just toys. Why has no one grabbed a bat yet? I don't understand. So Alan uses a decoy box to get the commandos out of the house, and he goes inside to save Christy. And this is finally the only time someone grabs a weapon. Christy grabs a pole and just beats the shit out of her dolls, and weirdly starts enjoying it. Oh yeah, and I guess now would be the perfect time for them to start kissing. So they start kissing, you know. I guess you're not like other girls, and I called in a bomb threat. Instantaneous, you get the girl. Like, it works every time. So Alan and Christy see all of the commandos driving vehicles of mass murder. Like, they have a flamethrower, they're shooting blades, like they have knives everywhere. Like, they're looking to kill here. So they get on a motorcycle and have a low speed chase because I don't understand how they're not outrunning them. So how they end up winning, or how they end up beating them, is she ramps over a giant hill in a moped, and then they follow suit, and then they just blow up in an explosion. God, this movie is so good and terrible at the same time. So the leader of the commandos is still alive, and he ended up at the factory where they create all of the commandos. And the truck driver from earlier, he takes him hostage. He goes up to him and holds a knife to his face. So Alan and Christy go home and finally tell their parents. And Christy's parents, kind of skeptical about it, but Alan's parents kind of believe it pretty quick. So Irwin and Larry go to Alan's house because, you know, they're the ones who created the dolls to try to figure out what's going on. So this house basically turns into a war zone because the leader of the commandos brought a truckload of commandos to Alan's house. All of them are just shooting the house with razor blades, fireballs, explosives, basically everything. And literally no one in the neighborhood kind of reacts to it. You know, just like most movies, everyone in the neighborhood, they're all sleeping. You know, they don't hear what's going on. They literally even have a neighbor open the window and tell them to keep it down when they could literally see a bunch of toys like blowing up their house.
Will you two shut up? People are trying to sleep.
So they tell them about the EMP situation. You know, only way to beat them is with the EMP blast. They find out that a transformer explosion is the only way to do it. And instead of sending out an adult, someone who might know about electronics, like Christy's dad, who knows about electronics, Alan's like, Dad, I gotta do this. And his dad's like, son, I can't let you do this. You're my son. You can't do this, son. You gotta trust me. Just this one time. You could kill yourself by blowing up a transformer. Why can't you ever trust me? So how they end up winning and creating the EMP blast is hilarious. So the Gorgonites, throughout this whole movie, have been kind of useless. The only thing they're doing is like talking about how they have to hide. So they finally end up starting to fight back. Archer goes up and fights the leader of the commandos, kind of just gets his shit kicked. But anyway, Alan's up at the transformer, and how he beats the commandos is a pun. He says, "This is gonna be a shock for you," grabs the leader of the commandos, puts him in between the two transformers, something electricity makes him explode. And then Alan not only had an explosion of a transformer right in his face, but he falls off the fucking tower and is completely unscathed. Not hurt at all, completely fine.
'Tis but a scratch.
A scratch?
your arms off.
And the ending is also hilarious. So the CEO of Globotech comes down. Everyone's mad at him, like, you know, how dare you do this to my family? How dare you put us in danger? And then they just hand him a check.
There's just a little matter of the massive damage to my home and my garage and my audio-visual component system. And this is good, thanks.
Bye.
I find that part hilarious. And then at the end, this is pretty fucked up. So he asked how much they were selling these dolls for. And then he said, add a couple zeros to them, sell them to the military. And not even joking, he said, I know rebels in South America who will find these toys very entertaining. What the fuck, dude? So in the end, Alan's like, oh, you know, all the Gilgameshes, they all died. No. But turns out a satellite fell on top of them and the EMP didn't hit them. So they ended up getting sent off on the river that they called Gorgon, and they live happily ever after. They probably fall in the water and end up dying or something like that. Who knows? But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's Small Soldiers. Very weird movie, very strange. If you guys want to watch me play the game Small Soldiers, yes, there is a video game of this movie. How, why, whatever. Go to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/BionicpigTV, and I'll be playing Small Soldiers. And if you guys like the video, please make sure to subscribe. Please make sure to tell your friends. Please make sure to follow me on Twitter at BionicpigYT, and I will see you all next time.